Hello. Well, the thing is, more haste, less speed. So we can see in this world, people are trying to satisfy survival, trying to give their best to their careers. However, because they haven't identified the situation with survival, they find themselves making a lot of mistakes. And we are all making a lot of mistakes in this age and time. Definitely, we are putting ourselves and our loved ones at a lot of compromise. So I was just reflecting on the slap that Will Smith gave Chris Rock. And I told myself, well, Will Smith definitely shouldn't have done that. He realized that it wasn't called for. Violence is never called for, and it also reflects in the especially in developing countries. There are a lot of meetings trying to figure out solutions to problems. People bring up different personal issues and try to embarrass others in meetings. At different levels, we see this in Parliament. It's very prominent. And other meetings with systems within the country, health, education, and so on. There's a lot of embarrassment going on, and afterwards, there may or may not be apologies. So, more haste, less speed. We need to simplify our survival. That's the thing. Uh, um, Survival is like fire. It's like a forest fire, and you have to calm that forest fire down. Otherwise, it's gonna this whole trying to get as much material things as possible. Many of the things are actually not required. We have to live simple with our families. We have to take care of the land that we have. Try to live simple, and so we can put our focus where it is needed. The focus is uh, nutrition and medicine through the food that you eat. To engage your family, to utilize the land, to get food in order to satisfy nutrition and medicine. That's the main thing, right? That's the main thing. You can't go wrong there. Maslow talks about this, and people because of the fire that they're in, they don't try to really see deeply into Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and try to identify that you need to focus on your land. From your land, every family should be engaging you're engaging your members to make sure that your land is up to standard. All kinds of food, vegetables, and herbs, and this is affecting all of us. Right? I'm trying my best to get my garden going, but at least our words should have to be spot on. Things like this will happen in the future. People embarrassing others, people slapping others, violence to others. These things are happening. The war in Ukraine and war in Ukraine also. Same thing again. That we are so busy, we're so caught up that we're not identifying that is survival have to be addressed in every country. Every person within the country, every family has to have some form of adequate gardening where at least proteins can be addressed, amino acids, um, and of course we get that through pigeon peas and beans and so on, right? So through happy units of family, give the independence by having our independence over food, we are naturally going to become happy. You're going to become happy because of a flat screen television. That's not the real focus. It's going to help you, yes, but that's not the real thing. Over a cell phone, or more expensive the cell phone is, the more or more fancy the cell phone is, the more feature the cell phone has, the more happy the individual will be. No, as I always say, evolution has give us arranged happiness for us for the most important reason, and that is to take charge of food and to engage our families behind that. So I'd like to encourage all of you wonderful people to just bear up with the situation of the world, have patience, and always try to envision a first-class garden in your yard. We are um, by evolution supposed to be working with plants, and we cannot allow consumerism to dictate for us. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, as I'm sitting in this car here, um, yeah, definitely people are passing up and down the road. People I have on my AC, whereas it's supposed to be trees, and if I there's no need for AC if there are trees, right? So there's so many artificial measures to justify to remedy the natural situation. There are a lot of artificial measures to remedy the situation. Okay, so that's how things are. People are traveling so much. This is artificial, very very artificial. And the thing is, of course, you don't curse the bridge that you have crossed. So even though there's a lot of arrangements like this, vehicles and AC and all of these things, right? We cannot. We have to use it and think deep and reverse the situation, because at this rate here, our world will end up in chaos. Everybody will try to be like little gods, and there's only one God. You can say it's nature. You can say it's different names. There's only one God, and at least we should say it's a Mother Nature. Mother Nature can satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. So we must tell ourselves we have to go to the other dimension of living, rather than a consumerist, burning type of living where our mind is always um, trying to get as much resource as possible, like hankering behind resource, beat the competition. This kind of lifestyle, inhumane lifestyle. We have to go beyond that. We have to go against that, actually. And so we have to live simple. We have to live so that our loved ones can have a brighter future, not a crazy future. When you think you're a god, somebody's behind you to get your money, because that's how the balance is. People will do anything to have something on their plate. And remember, consumerism means you might say, hey, these people got to work, right? These vagrants, or what if you call them, they got to work. But consumerism is already painting the picture of a throwback lifestyle. So even though people are lose a job or anything like that, they do not feel a natural inclination to do farming. Or even people, another case, people finish school, high school, college, university. They sit down, eat a set of potato chips on the sofa and looking at nonsense on the television. Where is the farming? So it goes to show that consumerism, the process of the stronger getting stronger, the weak getting weaker, it goes to show that two things. Number one, our mind is uh, uh, there has to be a psychological change, and also a physiological change. And the psychological change is that instead of me trying to be the stronger in society, go with the flow, and try to grab as much resources as I can, instead of doing that, I must live it. I must use my land. I must let me see cooperate with everybody and try to live simple. Okay, and physiologically, um, practically, in other words, we have to use the land now. Thinking about it now, you have to use the land now to get the foods that you want and to get the lifestyle that you want through the land that you have. So I hope you get that point, right? So the mindset has beaten us a lot. The mindset that has come through consumerism, that mindset is a virus that needs to be removed through a proper antivirus. And the antivirus is what's the antivirus? The antivirus is to remove consumerism, is to appreciate, to show gratitude that nature has already given the path to survival. That's the antivirus to remove. So how does it happen? How does the antivirus remove the virus? Well, by knowledge that food comes from your land, and the idea or the impact of consumerism will go away. Okay? Knowing that your food comes from your land, your nutrition is on your land, your medicine is on your land, once you're aware of that, then naturally the virus will go away. Where you're thinking that, I have to be dominant in society. I have to grab as much as I can for myself and my family. Right? So we have to remove that virus. That virus that doesn't. It's just short term, but in the long term, it's chaos. And think about your loved ones, their beautiful faces, hug them, kiss them, and look at them. Look at your loved ones, and think about the long term. Short term, yes, you gotta grab, but long term, we better act. We better get our thoughts in place, actions in place. Use your land, and so the future can be guaranteed. So whether or not your kid or your husband, or whatever relative you have, whether they get job or not, the land is there to cultivate. And third world country like Guyana, land is all over the place. Okay, so the other struggle too is that you might be under a system, and the system demands, like, let's say you start working 8 o'clock, let's say 9 o'clock, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 7 hours of work, right? 7 hours of work. The system also help, or it's also part of the picture to get you to go with the flow, right? So you have to beat. There's a lot you have to beat. Basically, overall, it's consumerism, or overall, it's strong get stronger and the weak get weaker. That's the overall philosophy that impacts the mind. But when you break that down, you can talk about consumerism. You can talk about work. All of these things have been affected by the whole concept of strong getting stronger, weak getting weaker. That's the problem. Hope you understand that as well. Okay. So, yeah, we just can't give up. We just can't give up. That's how it is. Okay, I'll take care. All the best. Leave some comments. Share the video. Definitely certain videos will take some patience to listen and to internalize. This is the age that we live in. Take care.